The time has came to replace my polyplastic window vents. This is on my Talbot Express, and you can see here the old vents have fallen apart. There is evidence, unfortunately, in between the two plastic panes of the window, but I do have an idea for retrieving that. I just don't know if it's going to work as yet. There are two in each window. You've got like one on the left and one on the right. And this is a 30-year-old vehicle, so they are getting a little old and starting to disintegrate, so the game plan is to hopefully swap them out today before they fall into bits and end up sandwiched in there. I'll just give this one a wiggle with my fingernail, and I think what I'll do is I'll try and lasso it because they are quite brittle, and also the centre pin has made a break for freedom, which is a bit disappointing. So I've gone around many times with some upholstery fabric. It's incredibly strong, will not break it by hand, it's much stronger than cotton. I'm wondering if I keep going round it'll just pull it out. So I wound round a couple of times and it just jumped out, so that's great, no need for any pliers. It is very brittle to the touch, you can see bits of it have came off in my hand when I give it a little press. Okay, I've had this idea now. Now I'm a little wiser. The centre just instantly dropped in, I was really unlucky. Is to open the window up so that we've got gravity on side, so it should come out as we wind round with the thread. It's a bit of a windy day for having a window wide open, but we'll lock it off using these knobs. So I've gone round about half a dozen times, and I'm just going to go around as much as I can. Just keep pulling it tight as I go. Hopefully we'll reach a stage. Oh, I'm disappointed that that failed. It looks to me like the only way of retrieving it, I've actually had to go with a pneumatic tube and I can't get it where I need it. I've even had to go up putting a spring on it and using a magnet off camera, and that didn't work either. These windows are thick enough to dull the force of a neodymium magnet, so you've got a choice here. You either live with that, or I live with that, or take the window out and try and shake it out of that hole there. So this is the back window, and there's quite a lot of detritus trapped in between the window panes. So I'm going to remove it and try and shake it out. Firstly, I'm going to remove this screw, then that, and then internally either side there, and it should just slide out to the left. There are a couple of screws either side here. And now we've got the window ready to slide out. It's disconnected from both of these. And it's lovely and free in the runner. I'm going to slide it out and hopefully I'll not be too close to the building to get it out. And we just had enough room there. It is actually easier if you've got the window at around 45 degrees I found, because there's quite a lot of friction here on the seal. So I've actually placed it in the garage on a rubber mat, which is going to make my life a bit easier. And we've got the pieces there a little bit nearer to the hole where we want them, so it's a bit like a kid's puzzle. So hopefully we'll clean this up. So far with manoeuvring the window, we've managed to liberate these three items, and there's just a few more. They do seem to get wedged in the sides, so you need a good push, and I'm trying to manoeuvre that one nearer that hole at the minute. Hours of fun for all the family. I'll probably do a bit better if I'm not filming it. Yeah, that's one down. Well, I'm getting a little bored of that game, so I'm going to try and stack the odds in my favour using a vacuum cleaner, and I'm lowering the suction as I don't want any mishaps. Do be careful using the vacuum cleaner on it, as I've actually managed to see this panel flex once I just covered this hole up with my finger just to see what would happen, and I quickly stopped. So I don't want you damaging these windows. Well, now I've got the window out, I think it's time to install the new polyplastic vents. I'll go into these a little bit more later in the video, so we'll see how easy these are to fit. Quite tight actually on first impression. Yeah, they're not wanting to start. Well, that's the first polyplastic one fitted. They are quite a tight fit actually. I did wet it ever so slightly round there, so I've wet the outer and then it just like went round in a circular motion. They're a bit tricky to get started because they're so oversized. And then when you get it going, when you get it fully in, just a circular motion, and it went flush with the window pane. And that's the second one in. It was quite tricky. I had to keep pushing and withdrawing it, pushing, withdrawing it, and eventually it did go. Maybe I'll try warming them up for the next window. Well, that's that window refitted snugly. But this one, on the other hand, is putting up a bit of a fight. So it seems to be, I can get it around there and everything stops. So I'm just going to try a bit of washing up liquid, work it on that rail. So as I push it in, it'll push the washing up liquid in as well. The difference there was amazing. It's considerably freer. Well, given the kettle's just boiled, I'm going to place a couple of these in some boiling water for a moment, just to see if it'll soften them up to make fitting easier, because the last one was a bit tough. So we'll see if this one's any easier to fit. Yeah, that's gone in. That's marginally easier. The question is, can I get it flush? Yep, we're in. Yeah, that makes it a lot easier. I would recommend that, and if there's anything steaming up on the inside, it should vent out, because after all, that's what these vents are for. Well, here's one that I have managed to successfully, hopefully, wiggle out, all in one piece. I think perhaps with this being the bathroom window and it being frosted, it probably got a lot less sunlight. And the replacement looks much better than its brown counterpart. Well, the steam's disappeared. Just ignore this here, it's a bit of overspray. So that's really good. I'm quite pleased with that. Well, I'm just on the last window now, and if you do find you've got an irritating piece of old bung what's too big to come out the hole, the best thing you do is just try and break it up with something. I've just put a screwdriver down there just to break it up so I can remove it. Well, I've just done these two vents in absolutely no time, and the trick is basically we've got it softening in water. You can see that's the end what's going in, and I just pinch it there, twist it, and then push. You'll find you'll get the majority of the body in. These are actually 4.6mm diameter, and I purchased them on eBay, and that was the cost. And they are sold as the genuine polyplastic window bung vent OEM, not cheap 3D printed. As for removal options, I've got these windows back in place now. You can carefully do it with pliers, but it will drop bits down the window. The risk of that's quite high because these are 30 years old, and also if you use the upholstery thread that's strong enough to pull, but you may not have that lying around in the house, so I would instead use Bit of dental floss you may have, that's nearly as strong as upholstery thread. And many thanks for watching, and why not subscribe to learn of more low cost repair solutions.